Hi dear fans, welcome to my channel. Next I'm going to talk not about fountain pens as usual, but I'm going to discuss a subject which is slightly unusual, and this is graphology. So graphology has been used for many years as a tool for interpreting or understanding something about the person, something about his character traits, maybe defects, his the hidden side. And why would you need such a tool? Such a tool is typically important, for example, if for hiring managers or for bosses, if they want to tell something about the character of the person before they can even hire them. As a disclaimer, I must say that the graphology, even though many people say it's it has some sort of scientific base, maybe psychologic base, where psychomotility or the psycho coordination between brain and muscle tells something about this person. For example, a very distorted handwriting, it's a sign of craziness that could be possible. So there are some situations where this is truly a reflection of that. However, in my opinion, if you compare to real sciences like physics or chemistry, and this is actually my background, physics and chemistry, then if you compare to these true sciences, graphology is nothing. I've been doing this as a hobby for quite a while, and initially I was reading books on graphology just out of curiosity to see if there's something that I can find about myself. And in the recent years I'm using this tool maybe as an add-on or as a helper when I hire people. So I have a team of scientists, and sometimes I do hirings, and if this certain position is very critical, sometimes I use this graphology as an extra, but I don't really rely on it 100%, not even maybe 20%, much lower than that, just to have an idea of the person. And nowadays you don't receive any more handwriting from the people. I knew in the past some companies really required that you sign some documents or you do a handwriting sample before you got hired, so an interpreter would look at your handwriting and could see if there's something wrong or not. But there are some general things which I think I've learned and I'm using to guide myself through. I don't know if it's that real. Just the only true person that I can compare with this, whether this is true or not, is myself. But in the other cases I really have no idea. Some people say it's true, some people say it's not true. Of course, comparing to these true sciences, graphology is not the science, that's clear. So let's go over a few things that I've learned over the years, and what I know that a text can be divided in two spheres, in two regions. So let the camera focus first. Oh, come on. Okay, now it's in focus. So a text, for example, let's write White House, green house, and so on. So this is my handwriting. You've seen this in all my videos. And I know that the space of a handwriting can be divided into regions. So the region, if you imagine a line that is cutting through the text, then the above part will be essentially the outside part. How a person would like to be seen from the outside by the other people. Typically, achievers have very long flags here, very long, they are called flags, but they really push their, for example, this top of H, top of T, and so on, very, very high up. And then you have the inner side. And that's what characterizes your inner energy or your libido, for example, if we want to go Freudian. And for example, many people that write really long tales in this region, very long, they have a very high sexual energy, libido. And we'll do some, for example, if you write, let's write golden prices. Of course, these words are invented, they have not much. Some people also write like this. Queues, quota. So really long tails, down signifies great libido and increased sexual energy. Let's write the same words. If you have, for example, golden, then you have a small handwriting, but you're pushing. These are rather, and so on. So you're rather pushing the flags very prominent, very, very high up. You notice the difference between these two. Then you have a very high social energy. You want to be seen. You want your merits to be recognized, and so on. Also, a thing that I've learned, and very important for employers, is if they want to know whether their workers are liars, for example, or are serious about themselves, they look for lots of curlies or lots of flowering. For example, you have for example, you write golden kind of flowering, and then quota. You see these laces here, kind of laces, flowering laces. Flowering would be like that, and laces, that's kind of the traits of maybe a person that is, well, liar, but again with a disclaimer, because really it's about a very thick, for example, very thick and weird handwriting, graphology, maybe also irregular somehow. Also very thick laces, graphology, very thick laces, like that. So you also have this type of kind of very kind of childish, unevolved kind of type of handwriting, and this is what you want to avoid in a worker, kind of a childish handwriting that is maybe signifies that this person doesn't take things very seriously. And then you have, okay, you don't have to believe me, but I also don't believe these things. It's just something, something of old-fashioned. Some in the past it was much more important. Of course, the science or the pseudoscience of graphology evolved over time. In the past, the handwriting was also more calligraphic, so you have more laces, more flourishing here in the titles. But nowadays it is said that you should avoid workers that have very strong and pronounced laces here, top and down and so on, and even handwritings that are very big and large and incoherent somehow, an incoherent line. Another type of text that you write, for example, where people, it is said that the people who write with a text inclined in the right direction, so toward the direction of writing, they are very energetic and action people. People that also write very straight, kind of graphology, kind of printed writing. They are maybe more equilibrated. They are not so optimistic or not so, let's say, easy to impress. They are realistic. But also they are not overachievers. So while these are overachievers, these are very analytic people. They want to be told logic, clear judgment and so on. These are also logic people, but very active, very intelligent. They get things immediately. And they also, this kind of type of writing, which is kind of, I find it the most weird, that is inclined opposite to the direction of writing. And this is strange, unless this is a left-handed person, and left-handed person tend to write in this direction just because of the mechanics of writing. But unless this is a left-handed person, then this writing is very strange. It signifies pessimism, very little creativity, very little action. There are people which would maybe prefer an environment with very little action and so on. So we are strictly talking now about the activity. And then what else we can discuss about? Signature, for example. Signature, for example, let's say George signature, like this, that ends up in like a arrow. These are generally sarcastic people. In a confrontation, probably you stand no chance. They will bring you down. They are very intelligent and sharp people, but very tough. And of course, now about brain, mind, body coordination, of course, such people are very impatient, and they tend to write down and finish up quickly and hit and kill. Also, the type of people that you should, let's say, think about it when you're hiring is people that, let's say, I did this the same in the past. It's like people, for example, which have a signature like that, and then they cut their name or their signature once or twice, and it's not good. These are kind of people that have hidden emotions. Some say even suicidal. Even if you have such a handwriting, I strongly suggest you that you change it. I had this kind of handwriting before signature, and I did change. When I read about this, I was scared, so I didn't want to do it anymore. Of course, you might have sometimes letters that where you really have to cross your writing. For example, you have A or H, right? In such cases, it's maybe understandable, but really signature where you're cutting this is not very good. Also, signature where, let's say, you also watch for G's, if the G's are like this, or what else you have, letters that generally require these laces down, and if you have a too strong lacing, is a sign of let's say people that are double-sided. They contain lots of they like to bicker, they like to complot, so I wouldn't like this kind of people in general. Of course, graphology also hides maybe lots of prejudices. It's not a, I repeat, it is not a science, and it's not fundamented in logic or fact. It is very intuitive. I would say it's much like it is like a horoscope. So I would give this